Since the very founding of the Catholic Church, men have historically been at the top of the hierarchy and held most of the main roles. But in recent years, great efforts have been made to help include women more and bring equality to the roles of the Church, especially under Pope Francis. Apart from men typically and historically being dominant over women in the church, women also haven't been able to hold leadership positions such as bishops, cardinals, or popes, which are all required to be male. Pope John Paul, he wrote a letter in which he talked about the dignity and emphasized how important women roles are in the church and suggested that they should be expanded to help bring unity and equality for all. The first current event is about John Paul and how he wrote a letter talking about the emphasis of how important women are in the role and apologized for how the church had unjustly treated women throughout history. A negative current event that happened had to do with when Pope John Paul wrote the Gospel of Life and defended life from the womb to death, in which he called on the nations to end abortion, which takes away women's rights to their bodies and their health. The third current event has to do with violence in Central America, which displaced lots of women and children, which left them vulnerable. Bishops in Mexico and Nicaragua opened their doors to help these women and gave them both food and shelter. More recently, Pope Francis wrote a 33,000-word letter in which he advocated for steps that would create greater roles for women in the church. He urged both the local and global community to integrate women into these roles to push for greater representation and less discrimination. An even more important Church Today event occurred this January of 2020 when Pope Francis named the first woman to be the Vatican's most important office, the Secretariat of State. This is an enormous step because this position had only ever been held by men, but now a woman is in charge of lots of the Vatican affairs, which will help promote greater integration of women throughout the rest of the Church and the world. In recent years, the Church has made a greater effort than it ever has before to integrate women into more leadership roles. This is already starting to bring more authority to women and show that not only men can hold these positions. Along with that, the Pope making the new Secretariat a woman is also a very significant step that will help advance many aspects of improvement of women in the Church. This has already shown that women can hold great roles in office. Overall, I do believe that the Church has made great efforts to include women and to reverse the hierarchy of male dominance that it had established from the beginning. We are working together to include women and to make the Church better for all. Discrimination against women is something that has been prevalent since the very founding of the Catholic Church, but I do believe that we are finally starting to recognize the importance of equality and starting to promote women to bigger roles, which are going to help improve equality throughout the Church on all levels, not just through the Pope and Archbishop, but also on the local levels by getting women more involved with the Church and putting aside the whole idea that men are the dominant figure, because under God's eyes, both men and women are equal.